I have worked for Serena Kwan for 2 years. 2 years of 7 a.m. briefings and back-to-back Thursdays and quarterly reviews where she sat across the table and found every weak number in my projections before I could. 2 years of watching her walk into a boardroom and change the air pressure in it just by arriving. I knew how to work for her. What I did not know how to do was stand still while she fixed my collar. My name is James Okafor, 32 years old, Senior Account Manager at Meridian Group, a mid-sized consultancy in downtown Seattle. My job is to make clients feel like the most important people in the building. I am good at it. I stay calm under pressure. I read rooms well. At least I thought I did. Until the Tuesday before the Ashford pitch. The Ashford account was the biggest thing on the table that quarter. A regional infrastructure group, old money, the kind of client who shook your hand and decided your worth in the first 90 seconds. Our whole team had prepped for 6 weeks. That morning, I came in early. White shirt, dark blazer, my best shoes. I ran the deck one more time at my desk, then grabbed my notebook and took the elevator to the 14th floor where the pitch rooms were. Serena was already in the hallway. She stood near the window at the end of the corridor, talking to someone on her phone, one hand flat on the glass, looking out at the gray water of Elliott Bay. She wore a navy blazer, dark slacks, low heels. Her black hair was pulled back the way it always was for client days, clean and exact, like everything about her. She said one short sentence into the phone, then ended the call. She turned and walked toward me. I stepped to the side to let her pass. She did not pass. She stopped. Her eyes dropped to my collar. I had not noticed. In my rush out the door that morning, the left point of my collar had folded under. Not flat, just slightly turned. The kind of thing you miss in bad bathroom light. She noticed. "Hold still," she said. Not a question. She reached up, both hands, precise, and straightened the fold. Her fingers moved quickly at first, the way you fix something that needs fixing. Then they slowed. She smoothed the fabric flat with her thumb, once, twice, like she wanted to be sure. We were standing 18 inches apart, maybe less. I could hear the low hum of the building's ventilation. Someone 3 offices down was laughing at something. Serena's eyes stayed on the collar, not on my face. Then they moved up. I did not look away fast enough. There was a beat, 1 second, maybe 2, long enough that I knew she had seen something she had not planned to. Her hands stopped moving. She was very still. Then she leaned in, slightly, barely, and her voice dropped to something that only lived in the space between the two of us. "Stop looking at me like that." 3 words, 4 technically. My heart did something embarrassing. She stepped back before I could respond. Not rushed. Controlled. Serena Kwan did everything with control. But her jaw was tight in that way it got when something had caught her off guard. "Ashford arrives in 12 minutes, she said. Back to her normal voice. Clear. Professional. Not a trace of the whisper. She walked past me down the hall. I stood there for a moment, looking at the empty space where she had been. Then I went into the pitch room and sat down and spent 12 minutes telling my face to do nothing. The Ashford clients arrived at 9 on the dot. 3 of them. 2 men, 1 woman. Firm handshakes, careful eyes. The woman, a senior director named Harris, watched everyone in the room before she sat down, the way people do when they're assessing value before the slides even load. Serena ran the opening. I have watched her pitch maybe 40 times. I know her rhythm. The pause before a big number, the way she frames risk as opportunity, the specific kind of quiet she uses when she wants a client to think something was their idea. That morning, I could not look at her directly for the first 3 slides. I kept my eyes on the screen, on my notebook, on the Ashford team, anywhere else. When she handed the floor to me for the market model, I found my voice and I used it. I walked through the numbers. Harris asked a sharp question about our assumptions on Phase 2 spend. I answered without hesitating. She nodded once, which in that room meant something. At one point during my section, Serena reached over and tapped the table twice, her signal for slow down, let it breathe. I slowed down. I did not look at her when she did it. By the time I handed back to her, the room felt warmer. The Ashford team leaned forward. Harris asked to see the Phase 3 projection again. That was a good sign. We closed the pitch at 10:40. Handshakes, business cards, promises to follow up by Thursday. When the last client left and the room cleared out, I was still at the table, organizing my notes. The rest of the team filed out, talking about the Harris question and the Phase 2 push. Serena was the last one left. She was at the far end of the table, closing her laptop. I gathered my things slowly. We were alone. Neither of us said anything for a moment. Then she said without looking up, "Good work in there." "Thank you," I said. She snapped her laptop shut, picked it up, moved toward the door. I spoke before I meant to. "Is that all you're going to say?" She stopped. I did not plan those words. They came out the way things do when you have been holding something still for too long, and your grip finally slips. Serena turned. The room was very quiet. She looked at me the way she sometimes did in quarterly reviews when I had said something she had not expected, weighing it, not deflecting it. "What do you want me to say, James?" she asked. Her voice was even, not cold, even. The way she got when the ground was uncertain and she was choosing every step. "I don't know," I said honestly. "A beat." "Yes, you do," she said. My chest tightened. She set her laptop back on the table. Not sitting, just setting it down like she needed her hands free. "I have been very careful," she said quietly. "I know," I said. "I do not mix things," she said. "I never have. 12 years. I built something here, and I do not put it at risk for—" She stopped. "For what?" I asked. Her jaw worked once. "For something I am not sure about," she said. I took a step toward her, slow. I was not going to rush this, whatever this was. "How long have you not been sure about it?" I asked. She looked away for a half second, a tell. Serena Kwan almost never looked away. "That is not a fair question," she said. "I know," I said. "Answer it anyway." Outside the window, a ferry moved slow across the gray water of the bay. I could hear the building breathing. Then, quietly, like she was giving something up, longer than I should have. The air in the room shifted. I did not move. "Serena," I said. She looked at me. "I am not asking for a decision," I said. "I am not asking you to risk anything. I stopped, found the right words. I need to know I'm not reading something that isn't there." She held my gaze for a long moment. Her voice, when it came, was low and precise, the way she talked when she was absolutely certain of something. "You are not reading something that isn't there." She picked up her laptop. She walked to the door. At the threshold she paused, one hand on the frame, and turned back half a step. "Thursday," she said, "after the Ashford follow-up. I know a place on the waterfront. No one from the firm goes there." She looked at me one more time. Not the boss look, not the boardroom look. Something she had been keeping somewhere careful. Then she walked out. I stood in the empty conference room for a moment with the Seattle skyline behind me and the ferry still moving slow across the water, and the word Thursday sitting in the air like a question I already knew the answer to. I looked down. My collar was perfect. She had made sure of it. If a moment like this ever stopped you in a hallway, you know exactly what this felt like. Subscribe for a new story every week, and drop a comment below. Have you ever had a moment that changed everything before a single word was said?